Hi, this is Fabien Bert from the SAP Analytics Product Management team. In my previous video, I show you how you can open a story from an application by using the Open Story method. Today, I would like to show you three other methods: the Open Application method, the Open URL, and Open Data Ladder method. So basically, with these three methods, you can also open different kinds of documents from an application. So let's start with the Open Application method. When I click on the Open Application button, it opens a new application. In this application, we have two tables here, and on top of this application, we have a text widget. And in this text widget, the last string, the past underscore variables, is a variable that has been sent by the original application. So let's switch to the edit mode to see how it works exactly. So here I can just change the present mode to edit mode. In the edit mode, we can see this text widget. And if I click here, we can see this, we have passed here a variable. And how to do that is basically you can add a dynamic text in your text widget. And you can pass different kind of variables. You can pass model variables. You can pass also tie and filter variables. In my case, I passed a script variable called variable_1. And you can see this variable has been declared here in my script variable. If I click on it, I can see the description of my variable, so the name of my variable, and the type of my variable is a string. But the most important thing is I check this option, expose variable via URL parameter. So this is mandatory when you want to pass a variable from one application to another application. If we switch now to the original application in edit mode, so we can see first that we also have a script variable declared, which is variable_1. And if I click on it, we have the name, the type is a string also, and we have checked this option in order to pass this variable as a URL parameter. Now, if we have a look at the code associated to this button, so you recognize what you have seen previously in my first video. We use the navigation utils class, and we use a method associated to this class. And in this method, we pass two parameters. The first one is the application ID, and the second one is a URL parameter. So here we have a parameter name, and you can notice that this is the name of my script variable with the prefix p underscore for parameter. And we have the parameter value here, which is, in our case, past underscore variable. So now let's click on the third button, the Open URL button, and it opens three windows. In the first windows, we have the best run story open, and the product dimension is filtered on soda. And in the second window, we still have the same story open, but this time we have a model variable value equal to 15. So let's see the code associated to these two first windows in my application. And so you can see that I use the Open URL method on the navigation utils class again. And this method is waiting for a parameter, a URL parameter. So I pass the entire URL to my story, and I pass the parameter to filter on soda. So I first declare the model, then I specify on which dimension I want to filter, and finally I specify the value for this filter, which is PD20. For the second window, I do exactly the same, except that the parameters are a bit different here. For the model, I use a V because it's a variable instead of F for the syntax. And same here, I need to pass the parameter name here, which is number underscore variable, and finally the value for this parameter. In the third window, we have a Web Intelligence document open with multiple pages, so we can explore our data and navigate through the different pages. So here, what is interesting is we have opened a document outside SAC, and which is, in this case, located on the Business Object platform. The way we do it is basically we use the open document URL services provided by the Business Object platform. So now let's see the code associated to this Web Intelligence document here. So this is here. So we still use the open URL, but this time, as you can see, we use this open URL document service, and we pass the document ID as one of the parameters to open it. If you want to know more about this service, you can have a look at the business object documentation. And one thing which is interesting here, you can also pass a filter value if you want to open your Web Intelligence document with a specific filter.
So finally, let's click on the last button, the Open Data Analyzer button. And as a reminder, Data Analyzer is a new feature in SAC which allows you to explore some BW query in live without having to create an SAC model before. So as you see here, I get prompted to connect to my BW system. So I need to type my credential first. And then I'm connecting to my BW system and to my BEX query. I can see the result. I can see that for the moment, the query is filtered on France. I can click on the designer here and I can continue my exploration. So for instance, I already have the country dimension, but I can also use the city. I can have add the city dimension, for instance, and so on. So there are multiple ways to explore my query. So now let's see how it works in the coding part. So if I come back to the edit mode, so this is a code for this data analyzer exploration. So as you can see here, I'm using the open data analyzer method, and it's a bit different from the open story and open application that we have seen before here. We need to first pass the connection name to my BW system. Then we pass the ID of my BEX query, of my data source query here. And then I pass two URL parameters because I have filter on France. So here you are more familiar with the syntax. So I use the F for filter and 0 and dim to specify on which dimension I need to filter. So this is this ID corresponds to the country dimension. And for the value, I pass the FR ID for France. And that's the way I can use the Open Data Analyzer. I can call the Data Analyzer directly from an application.
In conclusion, we have seen how to create links between SAC application and other type of document. To do this, we have seen that we can use different methods of the navigation utils class, and in these methods, we can pass different type of parameters. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.